Creating a personal loan in the Loan Manager is very easy. All you need is one schedule. So let's create that schedule. Go to the Schedules menu and click the Create button on the drop-down. This will take you to the settings for the schedule. We'll enter the name for your schedule, and you can input a description if you want to. Next, you'll select the lender and the borrower. If you don't see the lender and borrower people that you want here, just add them under Contacts first, and then they'll show up here in this drop-down. You'll input the interest rate right below this. We'll use 8% for this example. And then you can change the compounding period if you want to. Most of the time, leaving it on monthly is going to be just fine, unless you have a specific reason for changing it. So now you click Save, and you're inside the schedule now. There are 4 tabs within the schedule. There's Cash Flows, which is where we are now, Amortization, which is where you'll see your amortization schedule, the Settings, which are the settings that we originally input seconds ago, and then you have a History button, which we'll cover at the end here. There are 3 different types of cash flows. First, you have the loan cash flow. Then there's also a payment cash flow, and there's a special type of cash flow called a payment interest only. Most of the time you're going to use the loan and payment cash flows only. We'll cover the interest only in a separate video. Starting with the first cash flow line, the loan, we look at the date. This is going to be the date of the loan. You can change it if you want to. The amount is going to be the amount of the loan. Let's use a $20,000 loan example. And the quantity is going to be how many loans that you made. So in this case, we just made one loan of $20,000. If you had made this loan in 2 increments, let's say 2 $20,000 sums for a total of $40,000, you could input the quantity 2 there and update the schedule accordingly. The second cash flow line is our payment. This date for this line is the date that the payment will start. And the amount is the amount of the payment. If you know the approximate amount you want your payment to be, you can input the amount here and leave the quantity blank, so the loan manager will calculate the quantity. If you don't know the amount, then you input the quantity or the term of the loan, and the loan manager will calculate the amount the payment should be. You can leave either the amount or the quantity on the payment row blank, but not both at the same time. The loan manager can only solve for one unknown quantity at a time. So in this case, we'll leave the 36 payments starting October 4th, 2016, and we'll let the loan manager calculate the payment amount. Just come down here to the Calculate button, click Calculate, and you can see the payment amount it put in for our initial monthly payment is $626.73. But look, we only put 35 of those. It split out the last payment to a cash flow line of its own. This is perfectly normal because the loan manager sees that in order to pay off the loan, the last payment is not going to be for the full monthly payment amount. So it splits that payment out onto its own cash flow line, and it changes the amount so it exactly pays the loan off. If you want to change how this rounding is handled, you can do so for using this button right down here. The rounding drop down, there are a few different options on how to handle that last payment amount. Normally leaving it set to last payment rounding handling is going to be just fine. Everything looks good now from the cash flow screen, so just click the Amortize button. The loan manager does the calculations and it switches us over from cash flows. Now we're on amortization, and you can see your amortization table. You can see the amount of the initial loan, the interest rate, any notes on the loan, and then you see a row for each payment, the date that payment is due, whether it's paid or not, and of course notes, and it does the interest and principal breakdown like every good amortization should. Every year, it also totals up the interest that has been paid during that year, the principal that has been paid, and the total payments that have been paid during that year. That makes it easy to do your end-of-year bookkeeping. Other tabs that are on the schedule include the Settings tab, which was where you could get back to the information we originally put, the name of the schedule, the lender and borrower, the interest rate. You could change these values if you wanted to. And also we have the History tab. What if you made a mistake on cash flows and you wanted to go back to what you originally had? Well, you could go to History and look at the history item and restore the one that has the information you want to keep. Also from the amortization screen, if you want to do a print, you can either print this amortization schedule, or if you're using Google Chrome or Safari, there's a way to save it as a PDF right from the print screen here. And that's how you create a new schedule in the Loan Manager.